Some of the best memories are made cross-country in a car with the family, unless you're my sister and I who fight all the time, but that's okay. This time of year, millions are hitting the road to do just that. But before you put the car in drive, there are some must-do tasks to check off your travel list. Here to help us with some of those is automotive expert Nick Miles. Nick, with a name like Miles, you were destined to be in the automotive industry.
And you know something, I was born with the name, and so obviously the gods had decided what I was going to do for a career. That's right, getting ready for a road trip is a big deal. You want to make sure that your car's ready before you even grab your keys and wallet and head out to the garage. Did you check your spare tire? Most Minis nowadays have run flats, but if you don't have a run flat and you have a spare tire in your car, make sure it's inflated, make sure the jack's in place. I always say make sure you have a first aid kit in the car as well. You want to, sometimes you want to make sure that if that bee sting happens, you're able to treat it. There's an extra gallon of water that comes in handy. My probably biggest tip to you is if you're taking the kids along for a road trip, please make sure you have Wi-Fi. It makes for so much more of a peaceful, fun road trip in the car. You can get most of the devices that deliver Wi-Fi to your vehicle for free. You just add them to your data plan with your local cell phone provider. And I guess my other big tip for you is make sure you plan your trip well in advance. There are so many great apps out there that you can download onto your iPad or your iPhone or your other tablet device, and that can help you navigate the wonderful country that we have here, like Road Trippers, Waves, iExit, and even Google Maps, and you can see part of the country and things in the country that you never guessed actually existed.
Now, Nick, I love the Wi-Fi idea, but whatever happened to I Spy and the license plate game? I mean, that's how we got through it all. I mean, do you have any advice for us here in Florida, or does your advice kind of work with everybody?
You know, in Florida, there's a lot of things to see, and don't forget that it can get really hot inside the car, so there are a lot of things you can do to make sure you keep your car nice and cool. I always say keep those extra breakable ice packs in your first aid kit, because sometimes when the kids get a little hot and they get overheated, it's good to break one of those packs and put it on the forehead or the back of the legs, and if they're feeling a little bit car sick, they can always come in handy. So those breakable ice packs that you can find at your local drugstore are really useful. And of course, don't forget to go to your local tourism site. If you're heading within Florida, and by the way, 80 Floridians are joining us on Mini Takes the States. One of them is from Fort Myers. They'll be making this trip that we're making, which is 4,200 miles, 18 different states, 14 major cities, and about 100 hours of driving. And we'll be doing that starting off this week. In fact, it's going to take 2 weeks to get to our final destination, which is Palm Springs.
And I know that we were looking at some pretty sweet minis right there, but you got that one behind you. Is that going to be your ride?
This is actually my own Mini here. Apart from being an automotive journalist and a car enthusiast and road trip enthusiast, I'm also a Mini driver. We got the John Cooper Works version, which has the most powerful engine that they've ever built. And so Mini is the perfect car to take a road trip in. I like to say they have go-kart-like handling. But the whole idea of Mini Takes the States, by the way, which is in its 10th year, is to have a fun road trip with Mini owners. But this year we're also doing something different. We're defying hunger. We're helping raise money and food for Feeding America, which is an organization which helps feed the 48 million hungry Americans. And summertime's particularly hard on a lot of kids because there's no school, which means there's no breakfast or lunch for a lot of kids. They're surviving on one meal a day. That's 1 in 7 Americans are going hungry, and what we're trying to do is divert some of the food onto the kitchen tables of those hungry Americans. Now, when I tell you that 40% of the food grown in America actually goes directly to landfills, never makes it to a kitchen table, that's why organizations like Feeding America exist.
And you never know who could be hungry or not knowing where their next meal is coming from. It could be your neighbor. So how can we help you? Is there a website we can go to?
Absolutely. MiniTakesTheStates.com. You can follow the route. You can follow those Mini owners from Florida, and also find out how much money we've raised and donate yourself, and find out where you can help along the way. All
right, Nick, put the pedal to the metal. Have some fun and safe travels to you. To find out more about this segment, you can log on to our website, fox4morningblend.com.
It's summer vacation for the kids, but what about the adults, right? You can't leave us out. Coming up next, we have the maids to tackle your mess to give you a vacation from cleaning.